Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making delectable crispy potato rolls that I saw here on the YouTubes. I put a link down below to the original. It comes from the channel Delicious Day and it looks delicious. Everything Delicious Day makes looks delicious, but these looked irresistible. It uses very minimal number of ingredients. We're going to be using oil to fry, of course, potatoes, a bit of salt, and some cornstarch for some extra crunch. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm opting to use a Yukon Gold potato. That's what looks similar to what is used in the original video, and I'm opting for a medium to kind of smallish size potato because I'm going to be using a mandoline. But the beauty of this little machine is that your slices will be super thin and most importantly they'll be super even. And just peel the potato. I like this style of potato peeler. I believe it's called a Harp, and I just find it very comfortable. I remember peeling carrots in the kitchen with my mom. That was actually one of my first jobs in the kitchen. On all potato peelers, they usually have an eye remover. This little thing, that's used to scoop out the eyes. So you just stick that into there, rotate that around, and then remove that. Isn't that great? I believe there's some sort of toxin in potatoes that can build up specifically in the eyes. I always thought it was more of an aesthetic thing. So you have like a beautifully smooth potato, eye-free potato. But I've since learned there's actually a practical purpose. But the amount of toxicity in a potato, I think, is relatively negligible. So if you don't remove the eyes, you're gonna be fine, I believe. There's something very satisfying to me about peeling potatoes. Love it. Is going into the compost. Chicken owners probably know this, but you should not feed your chickens raw potato slices, from what I've read. Cooked potato apparently is fine, but raw, no, no, no. Those nightshades. All mandolins come with a guard. And look how thin these are. See how thin they are? Perfect. Into the water. And by the way, if you are curious about my glasses, I got my glasses from glassesusa.com, and I will put a link down below in case you're interested in getting glasses for yourself. Water and hot oil especially do not mix. It causes lots of spattering and it can be very dangerous. So we want to get the potatoes nice and dry. Place them on a paper towel to remove the moisture and blot it with another sheet of paper toweling. Lightly dust them with some cornstarch. So there's two different versions. One just places one right on top of the other like that. And then roll it up into a little tube, right? And then secure that with a toothpick all the way through. Look at that. Look, it's like a little app. A raw app. So another technique is to just overlap them a little bit and then roll. I'm not sure the logic of doing it that way, but they show two different methods. I think that perhaps makes it a little bit thinner. So I have a small saucepan here filled with about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of peanut oil, and I'm getting it up to temperature. Usually we deep fry from 350 to 400 degrees. Oftentimes these videos do not tell you the exact temperature to fry at, but we're gonna try 350 first. All right, now we're gonna gently place these into the oil. And they're sizzling away. Those look a little bit over brown to me, but let's just keep an eye on these, this next batch. Super fast, like a minute. And while they're hot, I'm going to sprinkle them with a bit of salt. Now my toothpicks were a little bit big. That's the size that I had. So they're kind of crowding up the pan a little bit. But I'm sure the toothpicks you'll have will be a little bit more reasonable in length. It's not always about length, you know? If you make this recipe, be sure to keep an eye on them. My first batch got a little bit over toasted, but I think they'll still taste good. And I think actually some people prefer them really golden like that, but I think you want them more like that. Now we're going to remove these skewers. Pull those off all the way across. And to make them fancy, we're gonna add a little bit of parsley right on top. That makes them look super cute. Alrighty, my lovelies, let's finally give these crispy potato rolls a taste. Look at them. They're so beautiful. They turned out great. In Delicious Days video, they give it a crush. Pretty crispy. All right, let's give this a taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Great potato french fry flavor. The middle was a little bit soggy. Edges were definitely crisp. Let's try another one. This one looks like it's good. Crispy on the edges, but in the middle, still a little bit soft. Definitely crispy. Here we go. I would say it's a very pleasant hybrid between a french fry and a potato chip. They're not as shatteringly crisp as a potato chip. On the edges they are, but in the middle, it's more like a french fry. Kind of unfurled while it was cooking. This one I think is gonna be crisper. That one was definitely more like a potato chip, but very, very thin. Not even like a kettle-cooked potato chip, which has a really hard, crunchy bite. These are a thinner bite. They are a little bit oily. These are delicious. They're fried potatoes after all. Heavily seasoned with salt. I think these would be great with a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder if you want to go in that direction. If you've got vinegar powder, you can make these salt and vinegar. Fantastic. Or just have them like this. Oh, a little bit of nori on top, a little awa nori would be delicious. Be a little bit more like furikake. Scrumptious. Alright, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Check out my website for a printable version of this recipe. Like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye! Boo, boo, boo.